Bessemer City coming off a bye. Swain County, a team that took it to Cherryville last week, 42-14, in a strange game that had a electrical outage at the beginning, a long delay, a running clock in the second half. But they really beat up on Cherryville pretty good, and Bessemer City beat Cherryville 14-8 in the last week of the season. So if you look at that, you'd say, well, Swain County's coming on the road, but maybe a favorite. But Bessemer Cherryville, always a rivalry game. Maybe you throw out that 14-8 score.
And the real wild card for Bessemer is, how are they going to navigate? Is Jarkevius Love healthy enough to play? I don't know the answer to that. And they've had a week off to either deal with him not playing and find a way, because I think Bessemer City, when they struggle, the fullback position has been injured this year. And if they can get some production out of that fullback position, it changes their offense. Yes, they've had some success throwing the ball more than normal, but that's not the way they want to do it. So I really do think that it's going to be a matter of, can Bessemer establish that fullback in the running game? Because I feel like they're going to play good defense. Swain County, obviously, the name escapes me because I talked to Danny Aker, the Cherryville radio announcer, did the game. Swain County has a really effective running and passing quarterback. He will give Bessemer City some trouble. But as we've seen, Bessemer City is a really sound defensive team, and I expect nothing less. But if Bessemer City can kind of control time of possession and control the tempo of the game, and it starts with that fullback position. It absolutely does.
We've talked about Bessemer City all year and compared them to the 1994 team because they've made so much history. They haven't stepped on the field in the playoffs yet, but they've already matched their playoff output in 2 of the last 3 years.
And they've never been in the third round except 94.
And that
would have been with 2 NFL players,
right.
Philip Crosby and Norris McCleary, and also they were beaten by, in one of the, I was not at the game, but I remember you talked to any of the people from Lincoln and Bessemer City. They claim that Anwar White had one of the greatest runs anybody has ever seen for Lincoln. Lincoln went on to the state championship that year, was finished as runner-up, but they played them twice. Lincoln and Bessemer City were in I believe it was the Southern Piedmont 2A at that time, or Western Piedmont, or whatever the name of the conference was, but they were conference rivals, and Bessemer had tied a really good Kings Mountain team that year, so it's arguably the best Bessemer City team in the history of the school, and this team has a chance to join them as the other third round of the playoffs. Bessemer played in a couple of state championship games in the 50s, but that was only 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Right.
And there's different formats, but since this format's Bessemer's been in the playoff third round once. This team will be shooting to match that 94 team.
Pretty cool, because not to take anything away from these guys, but there were 2 NFL players on that 1994 team. This team, to match up to that squad, which is probably the best in Bessemer history, right. With a talented group, but guys who just pretty much play well together as a team. There's not a Philip Crosby on this team. That's not to take anything away, but to see them match up in so many ways, both with the win streak that they put together early, the total number of wins, and now potentially going to the third round, that's something these guys can hang their